The biggest reason why you're posting content and you're not getting hundreds and thousands and hundreds of thousands of followers and these clients that are paying you $10,000 for a high ticket offer is because you do not have a proven system. And you think the problem is leads, but in reality, you just do not have the inputs that are necessary to bring you those leads, to scale your business. So I'm about to do something a little crazy. I'm going to break down the exact lead ecosystem. I'm talking top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, the whole shebang. And this is built for 2026 because we have to have an updated version, guys, because trust is low and people have short attention spans. So I'm honestly doing this just to serve. I'm not pulling any weird strings. I just want you to implement this and actually win, because this is definitely going to help you sign your first client from scratch or figure out why your business is bottlenecked, why you can't get to that next level. So why does this video exist? Because most people got sold on those book a call funnels. So now those funnels, they feel like pressure. I'm talking cold VSLs. The call is too expensive and there's low intent, low trust, and there's going to be a lot of ghosting when it comes to that method. So the problem isn't more leads. The problem is you do not have a system that warms people up. So this is the actual system that we use to get us these followers. And this right here is top of funnel. We get people all the time posting in our Discord. This is a proven system that is getting my clients the results they need, to scale their business. Like Carlos, this is a close friend. This is a childhood friend of mine. He trusted us to start his coaching business, and now he's making $10,000 a day, back to back. Luke is scaling from $5,000 to $35,000 a month. Tristan was bottlenecked at $12,000 a month, and now he's doing that in a couple days. And Zach, and the list goes on, guys. And it's not just for clients; it's for us as well. I'm talking gross volume of $50,000. Similar results, right, guys? So the first thing I'm going to share with you guys is actually our follower ad strategy. And the basis of this is basically Instagram and YouTube. Instagram is where you engage with your target ICP, and YouTube is going to further nurture your audience. It's going to establish trust, because at the end of the day, YouTube is the legit engine that gets people to feel like they know you personally. Once you get them to watch 7 hours of your content, they're going to feel that trust building. They're going to want to buy from you. That's the same reason why client A and client B aren't going to convert to a high paying client that you want. You have to focus on people who are willing to be client C. This means people who are students first. And what does client C do? They end up buying your service. They end up wanting you to help them out further. So the more content they consume, they're going to want to buy. It's going to be a higher chance that they buy. So all we want to do is focus on implementation, guys. Just implement a strategy and watch the results. Write down the results. So our follower ad, this is the basis of every info business, guys. You're not trying to go viral. You're not hoping. You're trying to get predictable traffic. You're trying to get the right people to your Instagram profile consistently. So the format is basically reels, stories, carousels later. First, you want to focus on reels because that is the main money maker. Okay, guys? So when it comes to reels, this is what is going to get your target audience, right? So you want to focus on your hook. This is 2026, guys. So stop saying, are you a coach who wants $10,000 months? Because that line is just saying, hey, I want to sell you something and pretend it's friendship, right? Instead, you want to call out the pain and call out their stuck points, what's happening, why it's happening, because your job at the end of the day is to describe their problem better than they can. So how do we do that? With single hook prompts. Things like, you're making money, but it's inconsistent because you're running your business on vibes. You don't need more leads, you need a system. So what am I trying to say, guys? Basically, if your calls feel like you're convincing someone, then your marketing is failing. So as you can see here, guys, we're spending way less than what it takes to get one client, and we're getting multiple clients. And as you can see, all of these people are trying to follow. And it all comes down to structuring your ads correctly. You have to make sure you run it to get traffic. That is your campaign objective. And you run it manually. Meta ads, they do this thing where they try to make you use their features, automatic targeting. Do not fall for it. You can test it on one ad, but that's later down the road because this is proven to fail. So all I'm trying to get at here, guys, is your top of funnel is for your follower ad. Guys, your top of funnel, you just run your follower ad, you have your micro niche reels, your videos, your carousels, and that is when your client is in the prospect stage. They are cold traffic, so you do not run a VSL to them in your top of funnel. That is the biggest mistake people make. They do not have a strategy in place. So they start throwing things at the wall and hoping it sticks. And I do not want you guys to go through that, because a lot of business owners, they already know what I'm talking about. They already have been through that and they learned, they progressed, and it got them to where they're at now. So after your top of funnel is your middle of funnel, guys. Follower ads push them into your nurture assets. The ad is not going to be the sale. You're not going to get a sale off the follower ad. The point of the follower ad is just to introduce them to your ecosystem, because the real conversion happens when they watch your content and then they start trusting you. That is what your middle funnel is for, guys. Your Instagram profile has to be optimized because this is the first page of your website. Overlook the Instagram profile, and that is the biggest mistake you can make, because this is your website. This is what people see first. It shows your story, your highlights. If you're posting consistently, it's going to show all of that. Your pin posts, everything, guys. So middle of funnel, what is your middle of funnel about? It's about your short form content, which is your reel, right? Your carousels, your Instagram story sequence, and then your long form content comes too. But you have to dial everything in, because your long form content is your YouTube page. It is the videos that you're posting consistently on your YouTube. I would say you should post a video at least once every 2 weeks, because at the end of the day, you want client C's, guys. You do not want to deal with these client A people, these client B people. You want someone who is qualified and ready to take advantage of what you're offering, and they see the value in that, because your job is just to give them as much value as you can, guys. Because once you get that qualified lead, you're going to be able to hit them with retargeting ads. You're going to be able to bring things full circle for them. And once you get them into that, you start understanding this is where my ICP currently is in the buying process. And this is where I want to take them to the bottom of funnel. Okay, guys? Follower ads should lead to a simple next step, which is follow, DM a keyword, or you send them a longer breakdown, which is your YouTube. That is it. One action. No link tree, no VSLs, no cold ads. You want to make sure that when your client gets to the bottom of the funnel, that they are ready to convert, which means warm outbound and hot inbound, because you want this to lead to a conversation. So the mindset in 2026 is content is your pre-sell. Your middle of funnel is what you use to pre-sell and pre-qualify someone, because you're not trying to go viral, guys. Like I was saying, you're trying to create repeated trust with the right people, repeated systems, and an understanding that you're here to give value genuinely. The three jobs of your content is to make it relatable, make them feel seen, and then trust is showing what you're doing and that their business is safe in your hands. And conversion is telling them exactly what to do next. Do they want to DM you a keyword? Do they want to give you their email address? It all depends on what business you're running and what type of feeling you're trying to give to your customer. So bottom of funnel, guys, you want to lead them to a conversation with an email sequence to further warm them up, turn them into a hot inbound lead. Because a hot inbound lead, they have the option. They can just go straight to a value asset, right? And that is going to bring them directly to the lead magnet. That is going to give you your sales call. And I don't want you guys to get all hyped up for the sales call. Do not look at it like, oh, I have to follow a structured script. Just go in there and establish authority. You are preparing them for their future. You're preparing them with solid advice. And they might not want to buy from you then and there. So what are you going to do? You're going to rebook a second call and hit them with the follow-up sequence. That is when you get a closer involved, guys. That is when you start to hire outbound. That is when you start to hire people from outside to come into your business and help you close these clients. And after that is just an onboarding call and all of the things that you need to do to fulfill your client, to get them to want to give you a testimonial, to get them the client results that they are yearning for, right? Do not worry about how am I going to get client results. I can't start without client results, because you can. Just speak to one person, one problem, one stage, guys. And with your reels, with your middle of funnel, you want to be posting every single day. And the minimum is 3 times a week if you're solo, of course, because I understand it could get overwhelming. And here's some real topics that always work, right? You can focus on one mistake they're making. You can focus on a framework they can steal, all right? And then also you can have a belief shift, because belief shifts always work, because what you're doing is comparing what they think is the problem to what it actually is, what it is in real life. Not everyone is aligned with what they need to win. Sometimes you need to refocus them and let them know, hey, that isn't the problem. It is actually underlying, it's actually something else that you need to focus on. So you can also do a here's what I do if I was you type of breakdown, right? So telling them, if I was in your position, here is what I would change in that business, because if I change that, I know I'm going to get this type of result, X, Y, Z. I'm going to get these possible testimonials, because sometimes that's all people need. They need you to step inside their shoes and show them exactly how you would do it. So that is a follower ad breakdown. And I want you to understand that your YouTube channel is going to bring it all together. This is where you explain the mechanism. This is where you actually build your real credibility. This is going to be middle of funnel where you're putting out nurturing content because your cold traffic is turning into your warm leads. And people at the end of the day, if they're serious about their business, they're going to binge watch this. And once they start binge watching what you're doing, that's when they get closer to buying because you're building real credibility. You're explaining a mechanism that actually works. All right. So after that is going to be your story sequences, guys. Your stories are super essential. I had to make this its own section because of how important your stories are going to be to your business. This is exactly the type of content that brings you to turning followers into ready to buy clients without you actually begging. All right, guys? Because the truth is, most people use stories like a personal diary. We know this. This is why people are constantly watching stories. They might not be in a position to scroll and find your post, but they can see you up on top. The more that they watch your stories, the more you're going to show on the top of their feed. So essentially, we're going to use stories like a daily sales page. The story funnel is going to be the bridge. It's going to be the crossroads between attention and conversion because attention is cheap. Everyone has a short attention span and it's getting shorter by the day, right? But daily story sequence structure, this specific structure right here, is going to put you as the centerfold of what they could be doing, who they could be reaching out to when they're ready to scale the business, right? With that being said, your stories, your Instagram stories are going to work so well because of what you're doing. You're showing your client wins, you're giving social proof, you're providing a CTA that is linking them to the value asset. And that is essentially going to build trust, it's going to build authenticity. And that is the main goal of Instagram stories is to make it inevitable. You're giving them so much value that they genuinely feel grateful for you giving them that value. So they're going to want to work with you. But your offer has to be value packed. It has to be something that they haven't seen before because each time you share, people are supposed to feel FOMO. They're supposed to feel like, dang, I'm missing out on something. So your value, your proof. So what are we doing, guys? We're combining value, proof, and attention to be able to establish that trust. And trust is everything in this business because they're meeting you online. They have limited trust. People do not trust everyone online. So what you do is you show them your offer produces next level results for the people that you work with. You showcase your done for you systems that few people know about, right? And that is going to build leads that see you as trustworthy. They see you as someone they can connect with and share your faith and ultimately your values with them. So with your story sequences, there are going to be four types of stories that you want to focus on. One is your CTAs to your value assets. You're going to be grabbing attention, showing the situation, the problem, and then coming with proof, guys, because without proof, they're not going to believe that you are who you say you are, right? And then after that, you just link a YouTube asset that shows the desired outcome, the exact problem that you can solve. And this is the angle that you're going to go with because at the end of the day, people see this as credibility, not seeing it as someone who's just flexing just to flex. You want to be an authority figure, right? You want to be the person that they come to for their business, they come to when they need something. So your story sequences, they're going to be the one thing that is a game changer that separates you from your competition. Your second type of story sequence is going to create FOMO. It's going to push this idea of urgency or scarcity. It's going to make them feel like, okay, I'm actually missing out on something because you're going to be showing that it's attainable for them. You're going to be showing that you're offering value for nothing in return, right? And this is a 7-step process. You're just going to post this on Tuesdays. But at the end of the day, this is something that is going to be pivotal in showing that, okay, this guy is a real deal authority figure. Because what are you doing, right? You're grabbing attention with a good hook, something that actually genuinely strikes at their emotions. They're going to feel like this guy is actually about what he says. He actually knows the pain points that I'm dealing with. And then next is your client wins and your social proof. You want to go hard on that on Thursdays because you want to show them this is attainable for them. Take a step inside my world, right? This is the people that are actually working for something and using what I'm showing them. They're implementing it, and they're eventually going to have their emotions kick in. Because why? If you see enough people doing what you're doing and doing it better, you're going to start internally feeling that pressure. This might be my time. This might be the feeling that I'm supposed to feel. And the next is going to be building trust and authenticity. This is a long story sequence because of the fact that you're trying to show them, hey, I'm a human just like you. You can trust me because I have the experience in order to be the authority figure in my niche, in whatever result, whatever service that I'm offering. So with this one, you're just going to continue the same type of flow that we've been following for the story sequences, but you're just going to add on the fact that you can transform them, the rewards. You're going to add on limiting beliefs being broken. This is going to be the rebirth. You're going to add on the Christ revelation that you've been sent them that shows them this is for a higher calling, this is for a higher purpose. Because what do you want to do at the end of the day? Offer genuine mentorship help. And at the end of that, all you want to do is show, hey, if I could, you could too. I'm giving back. This is free value. So if you're ready, just reply with start, reply with sales, reply with client. And that is when you actually show your offer to them, whatever it may be. This is what is going to be your bread and butter. And obviously, if your offer is not working, then it's not a no-brainer offer. You might have to change your offer in order to attract the right ICP. So what do you want to do when you're posting these story sequences? So all we're trying to focus on is teaching one thing that is just top of funnel, your follower ad. You're telling them something that they might not have known before. That's going to be your hook. The next thing is breaking down. Sorry for my handwriting, guys. But the second one is you're breaking down one mistake, one crucial pain point that is giving them this bottleneck that is not helping their business. The next one is you're showing one framework. You don't have to show them everything that you do to help people. You do not know their business. You want to give something that you know that most people are dealing with, most people are struggling with. And that is the acquisition funnel in my case. But it could be anything for your business, right? And the next one is when you answer one objection. Most people are going to have an objection. They're not going to come to you ready to buy. So once you answer that one objection in your story sequence, that is going to help to bring them closer to a sale, closer to actually using your information and understanding, hey, this guy is going to be the one that can implement this in my business for me, right? So you don't want to ask for a call every day. That is where people mess up. You want to keep giving value repeatedly, and then inviting them is the next step, guys. People should feel like the call is their idea, genuinely. You do not want to make people feel pressured at any point. So that is the story sequences. You're going to want to be posting every single day as much as you can, and don't worry about the work, putting in all this work, because story sequences are easy, guys. Once you get used to it, you're going to know what you want to put on your stories, what is getting clients, what it takes to actually convert a client. You're going to start understanding how to do these simple edits. It's not asking you to edit a movie, right? This is just simple posts, simple pictures. All you have to do is go out and take pictures, and that's going to be your B-roll that you can use for these stories. So next is going to be your retargeting ads. With retargeting ads, this is how you stop losing people who didn't buy on first contact. And why does retargeting matter? Because this is after implementing the funnel. So why does retargeting matter? Because most people, they would not follow you the first time. And it doesn't mean they're not qualified, right? It just means that they needed more trust to be built. So with your retargeting ads, this is going to be at the bottom of the funnel. You're targeting your profile visitors, the people who are engaging with your videos, and the people who are simply viewing your videos, especially key content that you think that, hey, this guy watched this video, I think he might be ready, right? So I need you to really pay attention on this part, because retargeting ads are the most popular place that people mess up. They run retargeting ads top of funnel. And at the end of the day, this is how you're going to get these high ticket qualified inbound DMs for $1 to $5 without running cold ads, guys. This is crucial to every business. And when you're retargeting ads, you're going to be doing things like, hey, watch this quick breakdown. DM the word X, DM the word sales for this template. If your pipeline is inconsistent, you can start here, right? You're showing people that are already warmed up. They already know who you are. You're giving them the sauce. So this is where you can insert your VSL. If you have a sales letter page, you can put that in there and route them exactly to that VSL or YouTube page, right? But only after they've seen you multiple times, because cold VSLs are super expensive. Just like I was saying, it's going to cost you a lot of money to acquire each client. But a warm VSL gives you trust and gives you authority. So this is just an example of all the followers that we're getting for $2 to $4, guys, because we're running this funnel the exact way you should. We're getting profile visits for just 40 cents and less. We're building trust and credibility. We're getting all these insights, all these views, people to actually interact with our content that are our target audience. And why are they reacting to our content? Because of our middle of funnel, we are getting our profile set up with our highlights using the same image or whatever style you want. Just make sure it's clean. A profile, having a clean profile is essential. If you want to be mysterious, we have our micro niche reels right here, our value assets, which is our YouTube courses, our trainings, our scheduled content for our stories, and etc. Guys, this is what it takes to be able to get results like this. As you can see, Hussein is in our business. He's doing numbers. Jaden is in our business. He's also doing 40K months. So with your stories in your middle of funnel, this is kind of how it's going to look. You want to be able to teach value. You want to show your testimonials. And then all you want to do is inspire curiosity, inspire FOMO, and provide value as well. So your middle of funnel is basically where 80% of the conversions happen. You want to remember, post your reels, your stories, and let your YouTube do the nurturing. Your bottom of funnel is where you have your retargeting ads, your DM ads, and the calls that convert the warm audience into a hot lead. All right, guys? And this is where you track all your data too. Make sure you're always tracking your data, because if you don't, you're not going to have anything to reference when you're ready to post that next ad set, when you're ready to launch a new campaign, and you're not convincing people. You're just qualifying and presenting the offer to them. We're just going to be going deeper into how to structure these ads, right? Because a lot of people, they mess up. They think that boosting their post is going to get them clients. You do not want to focus on boosting your post, because that is so generic. You're not being able to look at all these metrics that are going to be able to get you to the next level. So with our ads, like I said, there's a full breakdown below. I can send you guys that for completely free. Do not worry about paying. And ads, you're going to start with an ad campaign that's going to bring an emotional response from people. With advertising, you can target multiple different types of audiences. You have your custom audience, which is usually based on your followers, right? Whatever social media you're getting it from. You got your interest-based audience, which is things like entrepreneurship or whatever the interest that you want to target. And then your lookalike audience is going to be audiences that look like a custom audience. You can get this out of your own custom ad sets, or you can copy it from other creators. And that is a feature that a lot of people don't know about. So that is what I'm here for. That is what this video is for. I just want to be able to give you all the value I can in as little time as possible. And like I was saying before, boosting post is not going to give you a lot of leverage, because you don't have a lot of data to work with. It's harder to track the metrics, like I was saying. But there are pros to it, because it is quick and easy to set up, and it leverages existing organic content that you already know. Okay, this is going to get me some engagement. But compared to actually running real ads, there are going to be little to no cons at all. Because at the end of the day, what can you do with a real ad? You can leverage pixels. You can have more options to make it custom. You can target specific ICPs, detailed art. You can target detailed ICPs and launch multiple ad sets at once. And then a lot of people ask about placements, like what type of ads should I run? Should I run the story ads, the reels, the carousels? My answer to that is basically start with Instagram reels. Do not do your Instagram stories. That comes later on. Your Instagram reels is going to be the one vehicle that gets you to your clients. And you're going to want to use the 1-3-10 strategy, guys. And what does that mean? All it means is you're going to have one campaign, 3 ad sets, and 5 to 10 creatives. And once you start getting proven results, that is when you expand with more campaigns and more ad sets. So for now, just follow the 1-3-10 strategy and you're going to be good to go. So next, we're going to talk about sales, guys. And the goal of sales is that you want to make sure that your client is carefully nurtured, and they feel that fear of missing out by this time, because they understand you, they trust you, they feel like you have a lot to offer. So the goal of sales is you do not want to start yapping. You don't want to write essays in the DMs. When you're in the DMs, you want to start a conversation quickly and qualify them and book a call if there's a fit. No more and no less. So a simple DM flow is you can say, hey, what are you working on right now? What's your main bottleneck? What's troubling you in your business? And what have you tried? And then you don't tell them right away, oh, I can fix that, because you do have to nurture them more and understand what are their real struggles. They could be hiding a real struggle that they're dealing with. But at the end of the day, tell them, if I could help you fix that, would you want the framework or want me to actually look at it with you? So if it's a fit, all you guys do is hop on a call and map out the plan. But if there's not a fit, then you understand they're not your ICP, or they're not ready to hop on a call at least yet. And there's more you have to do to actually help them. So what are your rules when it comes to selling in a DM, selling on a call, anything? Number one, you do not want to offer free consulting. You do not want to go on and on and on, giving them gem after gem in the DMs. You do not want to debate your ICP. That is a no-brainer. You don't want to agitate them, right? This shouldn't take any convincing. You do not want to convince people, because all of your marketing, all of the value that you've been giving them so far, that should be doing the heavy lifting for you. So the key points you want to be tracking when you're getting these sales is the book calls, your closing rate, your showing rate, your average order value, your funnel conversion, your click-through rate. All of these are metrics that most people, they're not tracking these metrics, and that is why they're not getting to that next level that they so badly want to reach, because your goal has to be aligned with your ICP's goal. You have to understand that you want as much qualified calls as possible. You want a really good close rate percentage. You don't want to waste any time on an audience. You don't want to waste any time on a lead that's not for you, that you can't help with, right? So that's why you build trust before the call. You build authenticity before the call, and understand that, hey, this person should already be sold once they get here. Maybe they have one objection, two objections, but you have to give off the vibe that you do not want your time wasted. And people will start to pick up on that. They'll start to understand that, hey, this guy isn't trying to be corny. He's just a clean guy who understands the right way to do things, what the results should look like in his system. And he's going to be able to get me these results as well. So when it comes to sales, what are we focusing on? What questions are we asking to break the ice and understand, is this a person that I can help? You want to have 4 specific frameworks before you get on a call, and that is understanding the business. If you can't help, you're going to point them in the right direction. If we can show you how XYZ works, if we can show you how to run a successful business, then show them. So, what are some open ended questions? Just simple questions. Where do you want to be? What have you tried? Why didn't it work, right? You want to be asking these questions because in your mind, you're formulating, is this a person that I can help? How are they as a person? How is their business doing? What is the problem? Is this actually the problem? All these questions have to come to mind when you're on call with your client. So with the onboarding, you're focusing on what? Consulting, not just selling. You're focusing on consulting and letting them know, hey, I'm going to give you value. And then discovery questions. Like I was saying with the questions I showed you, just understand where they're coming from, what the pain points are. And then the next step is pain agitation. Just show them that you're here for whatever problem they're dealing with, and they can just keep putting this on the back burner. They have to deal with this head on, essentially giving them the power that they know is already inside of them. And then the last step is the authority assessment. The authority assessment is crucial. They have to understand, all right, I'm the authority figure, and they cannot just dip in and dip out. This is something that they have to commit to for at least 1 month to be able to get the metrics, to be able to get the results that is going to scale their business. And then after that, you just tell them, based on what you have told me, here's what I see. Here are the 3 problems. 1, 2, 3. And here's what you need to do to fix them. All right. And then once you tell them that, just ask them, hey, do you have any questions? Once you ask them that, they're going to give you all the objections, whatever they have in their mind that is preventing them from making that next step. They're going to let you know exactly what that is. Once you get that question answered, all you're doing is asking them permission to make the offer, right? Understanding, hey, are you ready for us to possibly discuss the next step? And once they say they're ready, you want to make sure this is the most important step. If you do not say your offer with conviction, it ruins everything. It ruins the whole call. It's like you're talking to a girl and then you finally ask her out, but you're stumbling and you're rambling and your voice is trembling and cracking. It's just gonna mess up the whole thing. Even if the conversation was amazing, like a 5-star conversation, she is not gonna go out with you because of the end. How you phrase your offer, how you sounded, your mannerisms. So what are you doing in this step? You're explaining your offer, you're saying your price, your value stack, which are, what is your value stack? That's the deliverables. What are you going to promise your client on a weekly basis? What is it going to consist of? What are we looking for? If you guys want this exact funnel, this acquisition funnel, I'm talking about this system that is going to help you scale your business and point you in the right direction so you're not all over the place trying to figure out what to run first, throwing things at the wall. Then I will send you this exact system. I'm literally so excited for you guys. Just comment the word clients under this video and I got you.